Hi guys, very good evening today on this Friday evening, and I'm so sorry I have been late by 1 hour, nearly 1 hour, and I'll welcome you all, whoever is there. I'm live streaming on Facebook as well because I know many of my friends are there in Facebook, but they haven't yet joined my link and they haven't seen and they haven't found the relevance of my training in their lives. As you know, I do consult the working professionals who have 6 to 12 years of experience. Working professionals, I mean, who are manager and up level, right? So many people get confused about who I serve. So anybody is a working professional and I respect that. But if you don't understand what I am trying to say, then it will be of no use to you. So I invite all of you to just to give it a thought. So I was getting thinking, people, they are in lot of pain when they are traveling in bus, train. All that they get to discuss is politics, and if not politics, not if not national politics, it is workplace politics. How the boss behaves, how the boss deals with him, how he or she favors or disfavor you, how you have been bypassed for your promotion, and how the colleagues they bitch against you. So what happens, you spend a lot of energy describing about your workplace issues, but do they know? Does it make any effect on the people that you are talking about? No, right? Some people are so indifferent at workplace, the boss especially and the other colleagues. They think that bitching is a normal thing. It is a normal thing to talk against somebody else and sabotaging the other person's chance. Now, what I have realized with so much of bitching at workplace is, why do you bother at all about this workplace bitching? Why? You have potential, right? You have potential to prove something, and if you get distracted by what other people are saying, it only wastes your energy. It doesn't, like say, it helps them, right? And if somebody gets troubled because of whatever they are saying, because it doesn't take any energy to start bitching, because it might have become their second nature, and sometimes they don't at all realize that this is what is happening. No, unless you something any of the nature, any of the habits that has become second nature to us, we don't realize that we are doing. It is involuntary, reflexive action. The moment somebody tells about somebody else, then the first reaction that goes is some comment, right? It might be a positive comment, it might be a negative comment, but it is a comment all the same. Sometimes when the other person is saying something negative also, you add to that, supporting that fellow. Very rarely it happens that that person is refuting what you are saying, or reminding that one should not talk um, at the back of somebody else. uh, why I'm saying this is, like, we get troubled. So these particular segment of people, when they lack their confidence, they actually get into trouble. They get into the trap of uh, say defending themselves, right? And various tactics they do to counter that. But the one thing that they miss is strategizing their career. What are they there for? At workplace, they have been given a profile. So it is not about only doing the work that is given to them, but beyond that. That is how they will progress in their career, right? So thank you so much. We will be discussing that today, and we will be find out a solution. If there is a solution, there is a solution, of course. That is what I have found after so many bitching that I faced. But you have to stand your ground some way or other. How do you do that? Only by having a vision and a direction. So if your purpose is okay, in place, you know what you are there for and what is expected of you. See, expectation will be huge from all your boss or the organization. But what is your expectation of you while being in the company? That is definitely not about the immediate thing that you do, right? Just give me a second. So sorry about that. So let me share the screen, and thank you for being here in this webinar. Let me start with what I have for you today. So it is strategizing your career, of course. This is what we miss out. And there are 3 secrets to strategize your career. You know where you are going. You will put a structure to whatever you are doing. And now you know the direction. So nobody is there to distract you, right? You are not clueless anymore about whatever you are to do. So do you realize that the existing career has to be more meaningful? And how many of you realize that by not taking immediate action, you will lose precious time of your career and you will become more and more clueless? So strategizing your career ladder is the only solution that you can do. Let us start by knowing what is in there for us. So many people I have seen, they are saying that if they become very fluent in English, then they will be able to convince their boss. And the normal impression that people give is like the moment they become very fluent in English, it kind of impresses the people. So, but that impression is not what you are looking for, right? Impression will be created for 1 or 2 days. But if somebody is superior to you, he will start harboring insecurity against you, and that will not serve you any good. Rather, it will be counterproductive for you because you are not developing on your depth. You are just superficial with one language. You don't know what to convey, right? So, and so it is about a communication which is beyond English. That is what you will know in this course. The second is creating a success matrix. So if you know how to create a success matrix, you then will have a lot of things to talk about. Success matrix is about what are the present situation and how you have taken some step and how you have overcome the difficulties. So that will be an interesting story, and at the end of that, all the things that you have undertaken, all the steps, you would have achieved something that is you can describe, like say 10% of market growth or something like that. And that is very interesting. How did you achieve 10% of market growth or increased your intervention rate by 10%. That is very interesting. So when you say that because of your intervention, you have reached 10% of penetration in the customer base, then that is very interesting. So if you have that number, you have something to tell. And if your grammar goes by, say, it becomes past, present, something, it doesn't matter, because you have your slides ready, you have the substance ready. The third thing is top line and bottom line. As I said, my achievement is, like I said, you should start from the top line. What is that? As you can see, sales of the company is the top line, and the bottom line is the income of the company. So the income of the company has grown because of the sales. So you should start with the sales, and your bottom line is income of the company. Both are very interesting to the audience that you are addressing to. In this case, your boss, right? And creating a legacy. This is up to your interest. You know why? Why? Because with the way you are taking your steps, you are creating a story, you are creating a process, and you are creating a success story. And that is not just one success story, but repeated success stories. Now that becomes a legacy. You are the person with a certain kind of process. Do you read about the about Tata Birla and the biographies of bigger people? Those are legacies, right? So whatever they did and how they have achieved success, that is what part of a legacy is. Now that is what you create, not of that stature, but start doing this. Nobody knows. If you don't, you will never become a Tata Birla or somebody else. We never know. A hero can be created out of nowhere. If he or she starts taking action, it becomes fruitful. The next is being relevant, depth and diversity, right? So this is where you are appearing very shallow, right, at workplace. That is why people are talking against you. You are not able to show any growth. You are not able to show any kind of achievement in your place. So circle of concern, circle of interest, and circle of usefulness. If you intersect all these three, then your area, your influence area becomes apparent, and that is your relevance. You can find out that particular area and start contributing out there. So this will happen in this course. We will find out that. The next is leadership significance. What is your competence, what is your passion, and what is the need of the organization. That is where significance comes. If you are useful to that, it is much like the earlier slide, wherein we are creating depth and diversity in your own thing, and here, as a result of that depth, you are now contributing to a particular segment, and you are becoming significant at workplace. Then connecting the dots, whatever. So this example counts because it is quite possible that in the earlier stages, as I say, I address the problems of 6 people who have 6 to 12 years of experience. At this stage, what happens is many managers are put into several disconnected areas where they have to achieve some significance. Now these areas, how do you connect the dots? It is the company's requirement, and that is why they have been put. So somebody will start from sales, he will go to finance, he will go to operation, he will go to say implementation, he will do some analytics, he will do some documentation, so many things. So suppose at some point of time he or she starts searching for a job, at that time they are clueless about which strength to focus, because the latest one might not be their strength area, but that has added some important experience to their portfolio. Now, if you see the pictorial presentation out here, you have gathered data. And out of that data, you have processed that data to find out some information. And that information has given you some insight, which becomes knowledge. And that knowledge then helps you to grow further, further in your insight. That is what depth is. Then that becomes your wisdom. Now you know, given in any circumstances, this is the area. And when you have this wisdom, you create impact. Why? Because it is not just one thing, and it cannot be just at the result of just one intervention. It has to be a conglomerate of several intervention, and not by only you, but because of several stakeholders and partners, including your team. And that is how you connect the dots. And wherever you are missing, you are not the person, not the most relevant person. It is the collective effort which is of the most relevance. But in that effort, you should not lose your identity. That is what I am trying to say. So the person who sees, who can see the relevance of other and leverages that. Otherwise, you will become a very selfish kind of person if you are taking advantage of others' expertise, but you are contributing nothing. But the most that you can contribute is how you can see other strength and appreciate that, and take their guidance, take their support, and achieve a bigger thing, right? Bringing change in navigating ambiguity. You know, ambiguity is something, when you start something new, there will be a lot of process ambiguity that will be there. Then what will happen is you will not know what step to take in order to progress. Sometimes what will happen is most of the people, they actually stick to their framework and the pathway that has been given to them. They are not ready to take any, they are not ready to get out of that comfort zone, because the consequences are high. Nobody can blame them either. You know, in government especially, they are given a certain area to operate. If they go beyond that, thinking that it is this in a long term, then that becomes a mistake. But you know, some people even do very great under those circumstances as well. We read about the IAS officers who achieve so many things within that limitation. Now, how is that possible? That is possible because they create systems. They don't do just haphazard something, randomly something. They create system. This will be this framework within which they will work, and that has been justified. That has to be justified when it is being planned. Now, are you planning like that? Are you able to plan like that? So if you want, you can plan. Anybody can plan, right? If it is this area where you are stuck, right? Suppose you are in a conversation with me. I would encourage any of you watching this to be in conversation with me, to know as to where you are stuck, and we can explore that area and create a roadmap for you so that you can become a leader. So that is what is this about. And choice of alternatives, knowing the perfect move. You know, in a team, when you start talking with several of your teammates, what will happen is whatever you are saying, some there will be some people who will contradict to your views. Now, what is that? That is where those are the alternative situations, solutions they are offering. Unless you are conscious about that, you will miss that as conflict. So record all those viewpoints also. Those will be your alternatives. Even if you take your views ultimately to the next step, something happens and your process could not be followed, then the other person's process is already there, which can be utilized to get out of this situation. So never undermine the processes those are available. So if you don't know how to handle a teammate with a different viewpoint, then you will miss this, right? So our training also will uh, tell you how to do this, right? And your journey ultimately is what you become, who you become. When you achieve your dreams, it is not so much what you get, but who you become. In all the process, you will transition from one version to the other. And Jack Canfield says, it is not the result that is important. It is who you become in the process of achieving the result that is important for you. And you will be appreciated for who you have become now. That is what you are looking for, right? You are looking for from in your workplace. You become a person of significance. So in all these processes, you will be helped to become who you want to become. Now, so what problems are happening now? This is my question to you, to the audience, whoever is listening. Why do you think those are happening? Just write those down. Whatever problems happening now with you, which you are trying to ignore or trying to say, let go, or you think that these are the life situations, then just for a moment, those might be life situations, very much so. But I would like you to write down, and why do you think those are happening? In my market research, what I have seen is people start to complain, and when they start complaining, they look for alternatives, another job in some other organization, without realizing that the other job might be worse than this job. And till they find another job, they work at 20% productivity level, which means they if the more senior they are, it will take much more time to get them a job. So for suppose a person with say 10 to 12 years of experience usually takes 3 to 5 years to get another job. When he gets to that job, for the entire 3 to 5 years of time, he has acted at 20% potential. So how will he know his ultimate potential, right? So he has lost important time, very critical time. So that is what I have seen. And in my market research, I have found that people tell lot many things which are not directly related to their workplace productivity, but it is affecting the workplace productivity. And those are various, even it starts from your mindset to fear of failure, sudden changes, and some perceptions. And affected areas of life is life decisions, work decisions hamper, competition increases, communication is bad, confidence is lacking, colleagues are underrating, learning a skill is required but not able to learn, big vision is required, and there is no big vision, there is no purpose, time management is very difficult, and consistency is not there. So all the areas get affected. Now, how do you want a short-term solution? There is no short-term solution. You come to me with an immediate solution, saying that this is the problem, but you can't see what are the other areas also getting affected. Even if you get a solution for this, there will be the other problems as well, because you have not grown from whatever you are, from that situation. It is not the solution, it is you who has to know, accept, and learn from the situation and grow. So that needs some packaging of your skills, of your attitude, your personality, which has to undergo a change. And that can be done by strategizing your career, strategizing whatever experience you have got into something very meaningful, very huge, which you cannot also believe. That is possible, very much possible, and it is very easy. Every day you do that part of that in bits and pieces. You have never consolidated that, And that is the reason why I'm saying strategizing is an important aspect of a solution. Solution because of which you are stuck. Now, what all you have tried so far? If we are one-to-one, I will ask you this question: what all solutions you have taken? So somebody actually told me that he has tried exchanging tiffin with the boss also. Now, is that something dignified? What happens to your self-respect in that case? You know you don't respect the boss, but you have to take him. You have started relationship building with your boss, but you know your boss all the time sees that you are not doing from your heart. Will that be effective? So please write down, even if it is not effective, if you have taken that step, that also tells how desperate you are, right? When desperateness is there, the other person can sense that, and it will worsen your case, I tell you. And but I would like to know, according to you, why it didn't work out. Anybody can see from being an outsider, can see why it failed, but also it is very important to know as to why it didn't work out according to you, right? Why it is beneficial to have a long-term solution. That is what I just now told. So what will you save is time. You will get a proven path. It will increase your reputation. And for that, what needs to be done is where you can start right now. So here is I'm presenting my simple solution as to you start with a difference. How you are different from others. You need to know, right? And that you need to prove for some time. Your mindset, your uniqueness, everything you need to prove for some time. And that is where resilience is built, trustworthiness is built, respect and admiration is earned, and that is how you influence. When you influence, you come to the prominence. That takes you one step ahead in the growth path. And all the time, it is your attitude, habit, action, and perception which matters, which affects all the stages. And once you become reach to the prominent stage, to the next stage, the competition and the entire situation starts afresh from that stage at a different scale and different level. So this continues. This is a cycle which this pyramid gets built up at every stage. And whenever you reach this to the prominent stage, that is what leadership growth is. And I call this skill, how to master at each level, as the resourceful influencing skill, which you need to build. Now, what is it? Each time, whenever you face some kind of problem, what I'll ask you is ask some three questions. What is that? How do you perceive yourself? Sometimes self-doubt is there, right? So ask yourself, that is a reality check I call. And how do you perceive by people? That is, you have to check your resilient level. Then how you want to be remembered, how you think your next generation will be remembering you. So how do you like to design your life, which is about time? How do you manage your time right now? How are you utilizing your time, or you are losing your time? Now, in defining all these problems, what happens is people outline their problems. So they will come up, as I said, they will come up with one or two problems at the same time, while it is obvious that all the problems are interconnected. So many people come saying that they have a communication problem. So they understand that it is English communication. But recently somebody told me that it is strategic communication that his HR is saying. Now I realize that this strategic communication is missing in many people's lives, which is why they are troubled, right? So when there is a communication skill problem, many communication experts will tell you to go about do these four things: write more, read more, speak more, and listen more. Okay, that is fine. That will also help you. But what is the subject? Because your subject at office might be very different than the subject that you are reading. Might be that subject that you are reading doesn't, let's say you don't like that subject. Most of the time, your problematic subject, you don't like. That is why that has become a problem, right? So what is the subject? There is the problem again. And when you have time management problem, everybody will tell you that make a calendar, allocate some time to your to every day's work. But what should you put in the calendar? What work now? Which are the work that you will manage with time? It is never the 100 work that you have put in your to-do list. Always do this 20% of work, 3 at the most in a day, so that you can concentrate, focus, and do that work well, right? So in the calendar, what will you put? You don't have any idea. Then if you are procrastinating, then how do you get going? So procrastination is, most of the time, it is perfection. Now, what do you need to achieve? Just take 5 small action if you are procrastinating. So now how do you start doing that? Suppose you should be writing, say, 5 pages or a report. So if you are procrastinating, you might not be doing all those 5. Now, what I tell you is, why not write a paragraph or say 5 lines? If not 5 lines, 5 words can you write? Start with that. Start with that. That will give you some comfort level that you have achieved something, right? Make a 1 page. So sometimes you want to get interview calls. That will you think that will boost your confidence level. Now, but do you have a 1-pager resume? In today's situation scenario, what happens is people don't have time to read so much. So you have to design your resume in such a way that somebody, whoever sees that, he would like to read it out. So make your interview. And how do you then you have the problem of how to formulate the entire experience in 1 page. If you have 6 to 12 years of experience and you have a habit of putting every experience into the resume, now that is a mistake. Now, if you are overwhelmed with everyday's work, and just now I told you that put 3 things in a day, and that will make your day, because 20% of the work that you do produce 80% of result. You need to recognize what are those 3 things, right? So how to prioritize so that you can figure out those 3 things right now. Then some of the tasks, it requires a lot of support. Now you need to ask support, otherwise you can't do. So how to ask for support without knowing what support you need? Sometimes people will start Ramayana and Mahabharata asking that I have done this, I have done that, done that, and I need now support. The other person will be perplexed as to where the support is required. He will never understand. So you have to formulate what specific problem you are facing. So unless you are crisp, you are not going to explain to anybody, right? So nobody is going to understand. The next is read, write, listen, and speak more if faced with a communication challenge, and integrate the subject and what to be communicated. this again becomes a communication problem. Some of the clients that I had, they actually don't write lot of emails. Email is the form of communication which has a which also has to be relevant, right? You cannot send an email after the subject is gone and it has become old, say it is 1 month old, nobody remembers. So, but this is going on inside your mind. So you would one fine day you'll remember that you need to write an email. Nobody has the time to read your email, and then you will write a pura Ramayana Mahabharat kind of email. Who will read? Who will understand? Because half of the things are out of context by then. So you have to shoot an immediate email, 2 lines or 3 lines, whatever comes to your mind. Get done with that, ask the questions, and that is it. But because your mind takes so much of time to get out of that, you are not able to write an email. So what happens to your communication then? So what I tell you is a proven journey. How I have done that. My own journey is about, I have trained 18,000 professionals so far, and they are doing great themselves, enhancing people's lives in many ways. And each time I train somebody, I have seen that everybody has at least 2 skills. More, if I spend more time, I discover more. And if somebody works with me, they can actually develop more skills, right? So these are few of the recognition that I have received because of several of my work. That was where I was sent to Canada for a study tour, and this is one of the CEO who has been trained by me. And my own journey already, it has been repeated. But where did I start? Let me tell you where did I started. I started as a person who was for 12 years I was in a social research company, and in that we needed to research on the social projects that is undertaken by the government. And at the end of that project, there is one evaluation happening, and we did those researches, those impact studies. So there were budget for training the people, getting the data from the field, logistics, then entering the data, analyzing those data, and preparing an initial report. So this getting the data to be entered into the computer requires a package. That package also I designed. Now what was happening was I was saving 90% of the budget of the project consistently for 12 years. Now, even then, I was not trusted with the topmost position. Why, Because I didn't see relevance of other people, because I was too much focused on whatever I was doing. Other people's contribution was there. I don't say it was not a mistake of the organization to have given me the senior most position. They actually did give me promotion, incentives, other things, but they didn't give me the charge of the department. Now I know why. And when I realized that my job was not to save budget. My job was to produce quality research. You know, can you see the difference? I was doing something which is very useful to the company. But for my growth to happen, I needed to do research better, social research, right? Now, why I was not able to think in that line, and why the organization didn't tell me that. They were able to, they were telling, but I was not receiving, I was undergoing a lot of personal problem then in my marriage life and personal life, and I was not able to focus. So circumstances are like that. But when it comes to taking responsibility, my personal my personal responsibility was that I was not taking responsibility as well. If I would have had a purpose, things were very different, very difficult in my life. That might be in your life also. But in every difficulty, there is a certain per person, there is a certain stage where we need to take the responsibility of whatever is happening. If we are not taking, we cannot blame the other people. Other people will be doing whatever was suitable for them. I needed to stand by my own. I needed to take a stand. I needed to explain to people that it was important for me to take that step. And right now, on hindsight, I realize that I could have done so. Now, if that is the situation, I would ask you, do you honestly think that you can't do anything? Can you take responsibility of whatever, wherever you are? Now, if that is so, be honest with yourself. Otherwise, you will lose time as I have done. And nobody else is responsible. And it will intrigue you for your entire career, even if you start now. If you have lost that time, that is a time gone. Of course, I'll tell you that past is not to be ruminated, and we should move ahead and do things which we should do. Of course, that is so. But I tell you, it will always affect you, and you have to get over that. But if you can take a bold decision right now to alter and take responsibility, then the one thing that you can take responsibility about is not like uh, say quarreling with somebody. The one thing you can do is you can strategize your career path. Instead of 8 hours, now you can start working 5 hours, but it will be purposeful. You may not be saving 90% of the organization's budget, but you will be giving them direction, strategizing them, strategizing the path that you will be taking. By saving 90% of, say, 6 projects that you do in a year, that might be saving, say, 5 lakhs each time, which means 30 lakhs. But each project, if you bring out 2 projects, it becomes 60 lakhs. Your time is important. If you think that you are an important person and you should be given the next position, you should know how to utilize your time, because in the same time with lesser wage rate, somebody else would be able to do that. So don't waste your time in doing something which other person can do at a less rate. Can you see what I'm trying to say? So utilize your time, and that is what strategizing your career is. Taking responsibility, deciding on what you want to do. That might be the immediate thing that you decide, may not be which you would like. but there might be something where which you would have liked and you can do. So what happened after that situation, and it was the universe which was guiding me to take some decision, and I couldn't take, so I had to resign that. And I got into smaller institutions thinking that I'll be a senior person in those institutions, and so my goal will be achieved. What happened was, actually I got into those institutions and I was a senior person, and that brought me a lot of opportunities. But again, I was underutilizing my own potential, and it will always tell you it is not the other person, the position that is given to you. If you are not able to utilize your potential, it will kind of always trouble you. So I was becoming a big fish in a very smaller pond. That means what? I had to get out of that situation and get into a place where my life would be meaningful. So that is what I did. I got into a bigger organization. There is a story also. It was by chance that I was attending one HR workshop meant for the seniors, where I was representing a very small company, where the other participants were from bigger companies. And because I was the senior most person from the smaller organization, I was allowed to participate in that. So when it came to present the HR policy of the organization, the organization that I was representing didn't have an HR policy. So I had to take some time and design it then and there. And it was highly appreciated. And it was appreciated by the people from the bigger companies. And when 1.5 years later, when I applied in one of those bigger companies, I got selected because my interview that had happened in that HR workshop itself. So this was something, when you look for solution, it was not something which I could have planned. Agree with me? How many of you agree that it was not a planned thing? It was from the universe. The first step that I took, it was because of wrong and understanding also, I took a step, and it was in a positive direction. I wanted to contribute in a more bigger way, and it was okay. So I took that decision, and so the universe actually came up with some solutions which were useful to me. So when I got into this bigger organization, what happened was, there were bigger projects and projects in unknown territories which nobody would have taken normally. And because of my nature, I chose those. And that is how I got to bigger projects and got to be known as the person who always takes the riskier projects. So you might also have something which you need to discover, right? How you can do differently, how you can immediately establish yourself. If you can tell me, if we can discuss about 5 things that you do very well, and given a situation, what are the steps you will be willing to take, then the strategizing your career will be very easy. And I tell you from my experience, that has established me, that has given me some edge. Not that it has given me some promotion, but it has given me recognition. So promotion has come later. Because you as a person has been established, it will be, people will look for you where you are. Right? So you will be a person in demand. So that is what we will be discussing here. Let me start sharing the screen again, if we can make it relevant for you. Now, when a leader becomes a leader, there are certain characteristics that he can he or she can look at, how he learns to have a skill, whatever skills that you are already, he either he learns a new skill or knows how to make that skill relevant. That is the first trick. The second is he utilizes and saves time. He becomes highly productive. The third thing is he is happy whatever he is doing. That is a leadership trait. And then he takes responsibility and he is a winner. He always hustles consistently so that he is useful, and he utilizes his time well, right? And it is an interesting thing to be hustling in. Then he is hungry for transformation. He is not satisfied with wherever you are. He has to go miles from wherever he is. Then he is positively expected. He always thinks that something good will happen. He is honest about his efforts. If he has done, he will say, yes, I have done. If not done, he will say, no, I haven't done. And he is very good at decision making. If you ask somebody whether you should do it, whether you have done it, many people will say, no, I don't, I can't, I want to do, but I cannot. How can I do? I'm going to try, I can do it, and then I did it. So people who are, which stage you are, you might start at the bottom stage, but many of us, each of us, if tried a little more, and especially with the help of a mentor, I was happy, I was blessed to have such mentors. No, you need to also have such mentors who can take you from I don't, I can't stage to I can do it stage. Whether you do it in within that time frame or not is immaterial. It is your mindset which makes you a winner. Some things are there in life which takes longer time to be established, longer time to be achieved. That is not your fault, right? You can do what you can do right now. And if you are doing that right now, it doesn't matter whether you have achieved the last point or not, because your purpose and direction is in the right direction. Everybody can perceive that, right? So what I do is I can weekly we can discuss about this. That is what we can do. And this course will be an online course first, which will be of 3 days. You will just watch videos which will take you 3 days. Then we will have some one-to-one call, have this roadmap established, wherein you will learn how to internalize your patterns, where you would learn how to diversify your patterns, how you can search your roadmap and do some practice according to you and integrate other factors into it, and how you delegate, how you will design your KPI, how you will design your strategic career path, and how you will empower yourself. So these are the things that we will be doing, and there will be several questions that will be arising when you take this thing. There will be 10 stages wherein you will find out your USP, your response pattern will be worked upon. Then you will know how to have your resume, how to deal with ambiguity, how to win friendship and relationships, and then be mindfulness and how to monetize a skill. All those things we will have. And strategizing a career, that will take you strategic communication, how to make decisions, how to be efficient at choosing the regular work, daily routine, how to be efficient and productive, how to good at communication skill, which will be written, verbal, spoken, everything, and how to be good at your relationships. So these will be, there will be 10 aspects, but we can do it in 6 classes. That will be our class. And we'll start that, and every week we will have a live class of hackathon, in which we can discuss all these things, and we'll resolve your questions, and we will tweak your roadmap, and we'll straight away work on the strategy map, the KPI map, the communication process, the ambiguity that you will be having, how you will deal with your team, how you will deal with your company, with your super boss, everybody. And these are the direct things that we will be working on. So if you think that this will be useful for you, I dare you try this, because strategizing your career is something which you are missing. You are missing. And that is the utmost thing that you will do. All the skills are secondary. It is your strategy that is primary, which you need to do it now. And I would want you to reach out to me so that we can discuss over a one-to-one call as to how to go about it. I am pretty sure your case will be very different from another case. But there is a common thing in every case, which is a strategic formulation of your career, which is missing, I'll say. Right? So don't work on something subsidiary. It has to be wholesome training. I hope you will book a Calendly call, or you will just pick up or DM me below this video. And because I am live streaming on Facebook, I would expect all of you to respond, and let us talk, and let us figure out as to where you are stuck. I'll see you, and I'll be waiting for your response. Thank you for watching.